All right. Hello, hello. Good morning. Wherever you are in the world, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I always say that on all of our calls when we get started in the morning. Okay, I'm excited for y'all to be here. I can't wait. We're going to just get rocking and start diving into Pinterest ads. So let me know if you can see my screen. Everything's looking good. You guys can definitely comment in the chat. And yeah, I can't wait to meet you. Just checking on one more little tech thing here and then we're ready to go. All right. So Pinterest ads. Pinterest is amazing. I've been doing Pinterest forever and I cannot even wait to share all of the tidbits and nuggets and all the great things that we're seeing every day with our clients and really just get excited about all the things we're going to share. If you have questions, you can tag Christina in the chat and she will make sure and answer your questions. Definitely reach out if you have something specific. We're going to do an entire Q&A session at the end. So want to make sure that we get all of your question answered along the way / at the end in the Q&A session. So we put together this awesome live intensive to really give you a deep dive so that you could kind of take all the strategies, learn them in one day, start to apply them for your ads, get your head wrapped around how the funnels and all the different things work for Pinterest so that you're set up for success from the start versus trying to kind of guess your way through it. And I know there's not a lot of material. Pinterest ads are newer than a lot of other platforms. So there's some conflicting information out there and just a lot of things happening. So I want to make sure and give you the best roadmap that we absolutely can. Share on social if you guys are on Instagram or Facebook. Those are kind of our main places that we share around. I'm trying to get my head wrapped around TikTok. I don't know about y'all. Yes, we are recording this. There will be a live recording that's going to be up for the next week. So you'll have that. And then use the hashtag PinAdsAcademy. And you can definitely tag myself. And then also Christina, our team, Lindsay Shear, will answer all of your questions and make sure to tag and share everything else. And then also you can join us in the free Facebook group if you're not in there already. We share a lot of great stuff. And we're going to be even more active as well. So congratulations, you're in the right place to learn an awesome new skill. If you've been excited about Pinterest ads, I know I have been for a long time, this is the right place for you. We're going to dive deep into strategy, talk about a lot of different things related to the different types of ads you can run on there, the different types of objectives and all of that stuff that you can do. You can download a free Pin Ads workbook at pinsforprofit.com. That'll come straight to your email and it goes through, again, a lot of information about just different stats. We're going to go over some of that stuff on Pinterest and what to expect for your audiences and what it looks like as far as getting yourself set up with creatives and all of that kind of stuff. And then also the different types of ads and all that stuff. You can grab that for free. So just quick little run through on our etiquettes. Please be positive and encouraging. I know you guys are already that way in general. So, and then if you have questions, definitely hit them in the chat. You can also, there's a closed caption option on Zoom if you need that or you want to, or you have to step away for a second and you want to kind of see what's happening still. You can use that option under your settings. And then, hey, I'm Lindsay. If we haven't met yet, what is up? I'm so excited to have you. I'll be your host today and I've been doing digital marketing forever, like 16 years. And we have a huge marketing agency that focuses solely on Pinterest ads. And I'll talk about how that kind of came about. But when the curve of things started changing a few years ago and people are looking for multi-channel options to advertise, I was running a huge SEO agency. And because Pinterest is a search engine, I was able to throw some strategies up there and kind of see where things were missing in the plan for search engine strategy. And so we've had some really radical things happen with some very intentional strategies on Pinterest, both ads and organic. Today we're going to talk about ads, but there's a lot of organic potential and power on Pinterest as well. Even if you're running ads, you're going to get organic traction and stuff like that. So, and then yes, our goal is to help new brands open new advertising channels. We do a lot of SEO, Pinterest, and then we try and match those strategies together because Pinterest is driving so much quality traffic. So if you have a blog or you have an e-commerce store, or you're just really trying to drive traffic for live events or whatever it is, there's a lot of good high quality traffic on Pinterest. And then we can definitely help. We do a lot of live trainings. All of our team members are experts. All of our team is here today. So if you have questions about ads too, Alex is in the chat. She's our head of media buying. So if you have any specific questions too, she'll be there to answer that. And it's really our goal to help you guys master this. And then also you can save the page that you logged in on. That's going to be the same page that the replays will be on. So you'll have to give us a couple hours here to get them all edited, but they will be on that same page when you're ready. And then for sure, want to make sure you get the most out of this event. There's going to be a lot of different lessons. They all build on each other and they're all integrating with each other. So we're going to keep going through each section. And then here's the agenda for the event. So we'll do the Pinterest Ads Revolution. We'll talk about what's changed in the industry and how to get yourself set up for success for the iOS updates and a lot of things like that. And then we're going to talk about designing and delivering irresistible offers on Pinterest. How do you make Pinterest customized offers? How do you change and edit your offers so that they're ready for Pinterest advertising? And we're going to start going through kind of like images and that kind of thing. And then number 3, we're going to talk about types of campaigns, when to use which campaign, what makes sense for different bidding, budgeting strategies. And then we're going to have a bonus workshop where I'm actually going to walk you through the account and kind of show you how setting up an account looks like and the different elements of that. And then we'll do a live Q&A at the end of that. All right. And so again, if you have questions, you can email us you can always email us as well at support@pinsforprofit.com. If you had like a personal question or something that you were looking for specifically, otherwise you're welcome to just hit us up and chat. And then of course, Christina is here. She's our client concierge. So you're free to add her as a friend on Facebook or Instagram and then ask any questions that you have about Pinterest in general or any different products, programs, services, that kind of thing. We also have referral programs if you have other people that you know that are looking for done for you services and things like that. And then we have never done this event before, so bear with us. I'm really excited. And I don't know if we'll be doing it again. You guys know how it is when you're creating a live event. It's a lot of work. So I'm really glad that you're here. This is definitely the right time to be in with this strategy. And my goal is really to give you a clear understanding of the power of Pinterest as a paid channel. There's so many unique things about it. I want to give you kind of the full overall understanding so that you can feel comfortable and confident on launching some strategies. So let's dive right into the Pinterest Ads Revolution. So when you're thinking about rocking your ads, maybe you've tried some Facebook ads or maybe you've tried Instagram or whatever, maybe some organic marketing and things like that. And so Pinterest fits into a larger scale, kind of more comprehensive cross-channel marketing strategy. So when you're thinking about marketing on various different platforms, you have to think about, okay, is my ideal audience here? How are they engaging with the platform? How are they clicking on ads, or what does the native ad situation kind of look like? And so we're going to talk about a lot of different things, the shifts with the iOS updates, making what's happening with the entire marketing landscape, why to choose Pinterest ads and where they fit into the funnel strategy of a cross-channel marketing plan, the kinds of brands that are a good fit. The buying behavior is extremely important of how Pinterest users are purchasing on Pinterest. That way you know how to present your offers and how to use your messaging and a lot of different things so that you're ready and positioned correctly. We're going to talk about Pinterest ads and SEO, how to find keywords and all that kind of stuff for your ads and for ranking purposes, which helps your ads and organic, how to eliminate the competition so that you're setting yourself up for success and positioning yourself in that blue ocean space, and then also search versus social media buying behavior, which is 2 totally different things. Then we're going to create irresistible offers on Pinterest, and I'll go through a little bit more on each section as we get there, and then the types of campaigns and marketing strategy, and we're going to dive deep into top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel campaign strategies, things that we're using every day. We're spending over $35 million a year profitably with our ads. The average client is getting a 2 to 10x return, which means for every dollar they put in, they get $2 to $5 back, which is amazing. Definitely, it's been a struggle for Facebook and every other section of advertising to get those kind of results. And then we have a bonus session where I'm going to walk you through your ad account and actually help you get the best head start. This is one of the most important things that I see errors and people missing. Really, if you don't have good structure for your setup and your metrics and things are not set up correctly, you can essentially kiss your strategy on Pinterest goodbye. It's very finicky and kind of touchy on the tech side. So we're going to go into some of that as well. And then, of course, a Q&A session. So you guys can definitely want to I have some questions that have already been pre-submitted, but if you have more questions, and we'll go through that we'll definitely work through that kind of stuff as well. And then the takeaways, the things I want you guys to be able to walk home with are how Pinterest fits into a cross-channel marketing strategy, when to start using Pinterest ads, when do they make sense for your brand, how to target the right buyers on Pinterest. We're going to go into different audience creation and all that kind of stuff, where the buyers are hanging out on Pinterest, the best practices for launching your ads and using my personal favorite, which is shopping campaigns. We're going to go into that a lot as well. Utilizing Pinterest's unique buying behavior so that you can increase your ROAS. It is unique. It's something that you absolutely have to take into consideration. And then also campaign strategies. We have some scaling strategies. We're going to make sure you get a baseline foundation and kind of talk through scaling. It's kind of a lot for a one-day training to talk about scaling, but you'll have an idea of how to start thinking through things as you're growing. And then, of course, the different type of campaigns. We're going to go through each type of campaign and how and when to use them. And then also feeling confident setting up your first ad. We're going to walk around the ad account and give you some confidence on that as well. Okay, so yeah, tell us about your goals in the chat. Have you tried Pinterest ads before? Have you been thinking about it for a while? Are you interested in trying it for yourself or a brand maybe that you work with? And what have your results been, or what has your success been? And how can we get to some specific help for you? I really would like to be able to do that as well. Okay. And then before we dive in, these aren't just strategies we've used a few times. We literally have worked with thousands of clients. We have data and test results from thousands of ad accounts. So we've literally seen and done it all. Thankfully, I have a friend who's on the engineering team at Pinterest. So we also get to try the new different things that are coming out with the algorithm, the new types of campaigns. We're going to talk about some new types of campaigns that are available now that I'm really excited about as well. How things are showing up on SEO, how reporting, what they're launching and rolling out. We'll talk about some of that as well. So, but like I said, we're spending a lot of money which allows us to be able to test and try a lot of things that I can share the strategies with you guys without having to waste money on budgets. And then, like I mentioned, I was running a huge SEO agency for years, and I've done a lot of different digital marketing strategies, worked for a lot of different brands. And about 8 years ago, I started kind of just realizing that Pinterest had some potential for organic. And so I started kind of putting some things up with my SEO background strategy in mind, and just started seeing crazy things happening with a search engine strategy that I wasn't seeing other people really talk about. And so quickly, Pinterest became our second largest traffic source for a lot of our clients. And so I was like, okay, this is not being taken seriously. There's a lot of opportunity here to drive really good, high quality traffic without consuming all of your time. And I know a lot of people spend a lot of time creating pins and pinning and all this kind of stuff. And there's a more specific strategy that you can use that's not going to consume everything on your timing. And then also allow you to combine some of the things that you're learning with SEO and keyword strategy and all of that kind of stuff. So you're not doing a million strategies hoping that they work together. And then the Pin Ads Academy process was born out of frustration with a lot of testing, a lot of time spent and wasted probably. And then when the Pinterest ads platform came out about 5 years ago, we became early adopters and started using this strategy of kind of mixing together the keywords for intent-based and search. We'll talk about search-based targeting, and also social media buying behavior, which is like you would think of interest-based targeting for Facebook, where if you think that someone who maybe you have a clothing brand and somebody who also likes mom and baby blogs is probably going to like your mom and baby clothing brand. So you can target that specific interest on Facebook, and you can do the same on Pinterest as well. It's just kind of a mix of the two. So we'll talk about both. And then I was in shock initially at how much potential Pinterest really has. It's amazing. It's totally underutilized. But I think people are really starting to maybe see the potential and see that it has a lot of positive opportunity on there, because we're seeing like just a flood of people wanting to test budget and wanting to try things and wanting to see how it goes. So yeah. And then I've really never been so excited about a new marketing channel. It's like, TikTok is amazing. I am excited about that as well. But the cool thing about Pinterest is it's a search engine, so it has really long lasting staying power. I put up pins over 5 years ago organically that are still getting traffic to this day. So it's kind of crazy. And you can utilize that when you're thinking about your ads too. You're going to have some evergreen strategies, and we'll talk about creating content that's going to last long term and messaging that's going to last more long term and things like that as well. So one of my favorite clients, Kara, is amazing. She hopped on with us when we were still learning like 8 years ago. She has an Ayurvedic supplement company and does a lot of like Chinese medicine and herbs and stuff like that. And so we got her e-com brand up really early on the platform, and she's just killing it. Still to this day, seeing amazing results, selling tons of products. So there's a lot of really good opportunity, and she took a risk with us back in the day when we were still not sure exactly what was going on. So now we're in really good shape and just seeing a lot of really great things happen at scale, which is even better. So, all right. So the Pinterest ads revolution. I have been working with a lot of different brands, both digital marketing agency owners, and mentored and advised a lot of media buyers, they're called. If you're not familiar with that term, it's just essentially people that are doing the actual ads, Facebook, on whatever channel, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever channel you want to call it, and learning those strategies, learning how to do creatives, writing copy, setting up the ad accounts, that kind of thing, and have been running 7 to 8 figure digital brands for the last 16 years or so. And I've helped hundreds of awesome clients crush it with our Pin Ads Academy methods. And definitely want to make sure that you guys get all of your questions answered. I see a lot of questions in there, so we'll start going through those later. And today I'm really going to show you what I've learned with working with all of these amazing brands and generating hundreds of millions of dollars a year for our clients, and how we can translate that, even if you don't have a massive budget. I mean, we certainly don't even advise our clients to start with a massive budget on Pinterest. So starting from a smaller budget and really getting there to scale is definitely a work of art. So we're going to go through each of those sections. And Pinterest is not just for wedding planning anymore. I get this question all the time. They're like, wait a minute, are people on there actually purchasing? Are men on Pinterest? We're going to talk about that. And how do you position your offers if you're not just kind of a blogger? So there's definitely been a fundamental shift in advertising in general. People are looking for multiple channels. They're really trying to figure out how are they going to get good results on multiple channels and with different social strategies, ads and organic. And so I'm sure you guys have felt it. You've heard about the iOS updates, which essentially is a privacy setting that has changed and affected everything having to do with advertising in general. So essentially our ad ecosystem with the privacy updates, it used to be that you were automatically opted into privacy. So you could be targeted by a lot of different things that you were interested in. And now with the privacy changes, you're now automatically opted out. So from an advertiser's perspective, there's a lot less data that you can target folks on. And then even now, Facebook is saying you can't target people based on gender. You can't target them based on political affiliation. And the same is true on Pinterest. You have much more limited targeting options. So we've had to create some custom tracking systems to try. And Pinterest actually has some really good options that they're using to help kind of track people's information, not in an invasive way, but just like in a how are they hanging out on Pinterest kind of way. And so they're doing that now through Enhanced Match, it's called, which is essentially matching people's emails with how they're interacting on the platform and making sure that they're actually like live users instead of just bots and things like that. So, and then also people are shifting away from larger social channels. So you're seeing people looking for opportunities on other marketing channels to open their, a lot of times it's called top of funnel clients, or people who have never seen your ads before, who've never been introduced to your brand, who are interested in buying and purchasing, and who may or can get into your community. Community building is also huge. And then there's also the shift of having an omni-channel presence. I know you guys have probably felt the stress of feeling like I need to be on every channel, or I'm retargeted on, I clicked on someone's website one time and I looked at a pair of shoes, and now every single time I go to every other marketing channel, I see that pair of shoes coming after me until I purchase them. And that used to be like my friend and I, when we very first started advertising like 18 years ago, we're like, that was our philosophy. We're going to retarget them until they purchase or die. So that's a lot of the pressure. You can feel the pressure of having to have this omni-channel presence, which is also good for you because then more and more people are actually flocking to Pinterest to learn more, and they want to optimize it as a channel. And then also you have the community emphasis, which is something Pinterest has always done exceptionally well. It's very curated content, which means people on there are all about positivity. They're wanting to share and support each other. They want to look for tribes and groups and communities to promote great products, things that they love. And so there's definitely a community emphasis on there, which is great. All of these things are built in to set you up for success on Pinterest. Yay. And then the future is to master new channels. It's focusing on the blue ocean space that creates special positioning for you. We found this out early when we started advertising on Pinterest, and still 90% of clients that come to me that are starting their Pinterest journey don't have hardly any experience on there. Maybe they did or don't use it for personal use, or they know there's an opportunity there. People are realizing that there's a huge opportunity there and that there are potential audiences there. So you're looking for people that, and we'll talk more about the audience on Pinterest, but they're very active, they're very engaged, and there's a lot of opportunity there. So why do most successful brands rely heavily on Pinterest ads? This is the shift that's happening, and it's happening because now there's the opportunity to come here and be educated so that you can have success on Pinterest without wasting a lot of money. That's another thing that I would say is a lot of people come to us and say, I wasted a lot of money. I tried a lot of things. They didn't really work. I can't really tell if their tracking or reporting was accurate and all of that kind of stuff. So definitely I will say that the Pinterest demographic has a stronger purchasing power than other social platforms because it's not really a social media site. It's actually a search engine. People are getting on there looking for solutions to their problems. So think about when you go to Amazon and you want to buy eyeshadow. I just bought some yesterday. That you're looking for that specific thing on Amazon, and it's going to show you all these things that are going to show up in organic search, plus the paid search of what people are bidding on that keyword eyeshadow. So Pinterest has a very high intention-based audience. So they're coming to purchase. They're planning their purchases. They're actively planning. It's also a great place to find affluent female millennials. So if you have a women's clothing brand, or you have a hair care and beauty brand, or you have something that's supporting, you're going to get a huge market of your ideal audience there. And then there's a ton of relevant traffic that's going to be brought to your website. And that's for ads plus organic, even though we're talking mainly about ads here, but our costs per lead, and we're going to talk about all of that stuff, are so much lower on Pinterest than they have been on any other channel. And you can get in front of a large audience. They are actively on the platform and pursuing a lot of great things. So definitely you want to master the mindset of getting ready to scale. You've definitely there's some things that you're going to have to, and we're going to go through, that you need to have ready so that you can start your Pinterest ads with the right budget, with the right background, and then also having the right products and sales strategy. So you want to make sure that you're set up correctly for the amount of sales that you need to have. And that has to do with how it affects your budgeting, how it affects your bidding, and also building an evergreen ecosystem for consistent sales and scaling on Pinterest. So we have to think about it like a search engine. The offers are going to last longer. So we really have to create a cross-channel strategy that's going to support you having a longer term offer that's available for a longer term period of time. So you want to make sure and think about, how are you going to position your offers for longer term sales? So yeah, and that's another thing. I did mergers and acquisitions for a lot of years. And the most important question that I was always asked by anyone that was investing in a company or selling a company or looking at growing, like if you're going to a bank and you're trying to get money for funding for your brand, or you're trying to find a partner, the most important question that they're asking me is this term of acquiring a new customer. What does it take to acquire a new customer? So, and how long is that customer going to stay with you? So it's really important to think about, as you're creating search, the opportunity is to have a new customer that lasts longer and has a higher average order value, we call it, or AOV. And so seeing that over the years, I can tell you that Pinterest has an amazing potential for great new offers. And I've done a lot of different events and things like that. You guys can check out. I'm on pretty much every podcast talking different random strategies and talking about SEO and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of opportunity for there as well. And so if you want to master Pinterest marketing, you've got to start thinking about an ever-changing landscape and how to really kind of master this search behavior. And a lot of times people were I see this all the time. There's a lot of money, time, and energy that's invested in one channel or Facebook and Google, and everyone's hoping, really not even just hoping, but depending on one source of advertising income. And that's so dangerous. And everyone with the iOS updates is seeing a massive shift on having to open new marketing channels. So now with the new paradigm, people are looking for an omni-channel approach that's consistent, that you're constantly having. I'm sure you guys are aware of the need to start creating better creative that people are going to engage in, to refresh your creative often. You can't really get away with the same things that you used to be able to get away with by creating kind of a great ad and then it just runs forever and gets burnt out maybe a few months later. Now it's more like weeks, and you're refreshing creative all the time, and you're really trying to get people engaged with the brand. So have you guys noticed this? Have you seen that? Are you in advertising? Has it been something that you're aware of and you know you need to make a shift on that change? If you are, you're not alone. It's definitely a crucial time to be diversifying your ad spend across channel. Nobody can be dependent on one or two channels anymore. So if you're looking to learn Pinterest ads to run ads for other people, that's a huge, amazing point of reference to know about, that everyone's looking for that. And then of course there's rising ad costs. It's much harder to be profitable on just Facebook anymore. It's much harder to be profitable on Google. It's definitely, with the privacy updates, etc., it's harder to find your targeting. It's harder to conversion rate. You have to have a much better, higher quality experience for your clients to be able to have conversions now. So if you're starting a brand new store, focusing on conversion rate optimization is going to be something that's crucial and critical for you. And it's also going to help your click-through rates, which is a very important metric we're going to talk about, of how people are engaging with your images and creatives and how they're experiencing your brands when they're hitting your landing pages and your product pages and your home pages. It's essential to have a higher converting, more well-rounded business now. And it's really hard to get away with. I'm not going to say drop shipping is dead, but it's much harder to get away with, kind of like a fly by the seat of your pants experience for folks. So, and there's definitely a lot of stress. Everybody's testing a lot of things, spending a lot of budget. It's much harder to have success on a new platform now. And of course, there's new social sites popping up everywhere and new ad platforms popping up everywhere. So mastering one or two ad channels is critical for this time period, so that you can walk through some new channels. And then also the best brands are opening new channels, and they're actively searching for places to diversify their spend if you're wanting to learn Pinterest ads to offer to other clients, and just even as your own brand as well. And then you're also looking to get more reach organically. Everyone's looking for more organic reach, and Pinterest has a huge opportunity there. And then, of course, there's really not a lot of education and training. I know there wasn't when I was learning Pinterest ads. We just ended up having to apply a lot of our knowledge from other ad strategies. And then thankfully, because I was in mergers and acquisitions, I knew what it took to get a brand new person to engage with your brand. And so then we just started spending a lot of money and having a lot of results and stress, but learning a lot of things. And then, of course, learning to run a new ad channel is extremely necessary in today's platforms. So, but you can be excellent. You can definitely be confident in opening your new channel. And that's what we're going to be talking about and getting you confident about today. So let me know, what channels are you guys using? What is working? What isn't working? Are your costs per leads rising? Are your costs per new clients rising? Let me know. And there's definitely no judgment here. If you've never tried Pinterest, that's all good. We're going to dive down to the beginning. And if you have, that's great. If you've had great success, awesome. If you haven't had any opportunity with the ad platform, that's all good. We're going to dive into it. So what would happen if you opened a new marketing channel and you got great results? What would that do for your brand? What would it do for maybe a brand that you're working with? What would it do for an opportunity for even your personal life? If your brand starts taking off and you start having this amazing skill, what could it do for you? I know it did a lot for us. We changed a lot of great things with our clients as well. And so, so for our next section, we're going to talk a little bit more about the the iOS update. So, one of the great things, let me see if I might have lost my iOS update slides. But anyway, one of the great reasons why we love Pinterest so much is because it has such a high quality traffic base. It has a high quality engagement of folks that are hanging out on Pinterest. And so you've got folks that have never tried Pinterest before, or maybe you've tried it for organic and you don't really know how to start with ads, and you're not sure if you should hire someone to help you, or maybe you have tried Pinterest before and you're not sure how to get conversions. I see this a lot of times. It's very different than Facebook in a lot of different ways. So you have to make sure that your funnels and everything are designed for Pinterest buying behavior. And we're going to go into strategy and some key principles that you have to know to understand how to get the crazy results that are happening on platform. And because they're always improving the ads. There are always new things that are coming out. And that's true for Facebook. It's true for every ad platform. And so here's just an example. This client, this is a 1 month view, spent $300,000 and made $2.6 million. This is at scale. It's totally possible. I would say the average of our clients is anywhere between 3 to 5x. So there's a lot of opportunity here. And there's a lot of reasons why people are looking at Pinterest as well, because with Facebook, the other problem is ad bans, account shutdowns. I don't know if you guys have experienced this at all. We certainly have. We have never lost an account on Pinterest, which is amazing. They have a much better support system. If you've experienced the terrible or non-existent support, I feel your pain on a deep level. And there's also a lot of disapproved products on Facebook that are approved on Pinterest, including supplements. There's a lot of healthcare. There are certain things that you can't do on Pinterest, like you can't do a before and after ad, which is the same as true for Facebook, but you can do that for organic. Pretty much everything that you can't get away with on Facebook, or the kind of nitpickiness of the copy and creative and stuff like that, you can do on Pinterest, which is great. And they have a much better support. So if your ad gets banned or flagged or something happens with your account, then you can reach out to their support. And I don't think, Alex, have we ever had them take longer than 24 hours to respond to us? I don't think so. Maybe once or twice for a large topic that had to do some research on, but no, they're extremely fast on support, and their support team is much more knowledgeable and experienced, I think, than we've seen on a lot of other channels. So if you're looking for something like that, that is huge, especially as you start to scale and you start to see weird things happening, which is every day. And definitely 100% of the accounts we've audited have major room for growth potential. There's definitely the setup, I would say, is the major area when it comes to tracking, pixeling, understanding the analytics, understanding the value of the different metrics and which metrics make the most sense to make decisions on for your ads and organic. Those are very important. And I would say if your funnels are not designed for and conversion rate optimized for Pinterest traffic, which is more education based. People are definitely looking to explore more of an educational realm. So you could think about it almost like as if you were a blogger and you're creating really good content in your blogs, and then you're creating an opt-in and people are opting in for a free strategy. That's more of the buying behavior versus, and then there's the other side that's more like retargeting, which is e-commerce based, which is drive straight to product page, straight to purchase, maybe with some type of a discount on there. So you definitely want to create yourself a sustainable map for success. And so in order to do that, you've got to have a certain couple of key points. So number one, approach Pinterest with fresh eyes from the perspective of both a marketer and a user. So think about, before you were marketing on Pinterest, just how you use Pinterest. If you have an organic profile, if you don't, set one up for sure. Make sure that it has some pins and some things on there that you can test. And then just start searching, start looking around, seeing who's engaging with what, seeing who, as you search in the top of your search bar, say you're looking for a new rug. We're remodeling right now and I'm looking for a rug. You're looking for a new rug. You will start to see all these kind of search results of things that are coming up, and it's not going to be just rugs. It's going to be interior design ideas. It's going to be how to choose the best rug. It's going to be blog articles on different types of color matching. And there's just a lot of opportunity for things that are related / unrelated on your search for you to become kind of the go-to person in that industry for that specific thing. And then also, Pinterest drives major amounts of traffic. So you have to have a strategy of what they're driving traffic to. So if you're driving traffic to your homepage, you really want to make sure that you have an offer on the homepage that's going to be something they engage with. So at a minimum, I always suggest that everyone has a pop-up, and maybe you hate pop-ups. I hated pop-ups on my website forever, but they convert. And so at the end of the day, if you're wanting to make money, kind of probably you're going to have to do some things that you maybe didn't initially love, but the more you see it from a marketer's perspective, you'll understand, okay, pop-ups are not my favorite thing ever, but 85% of people that land on the pop-up and opt in for an email, 10% off my products, I'm collecting those emails so that I can remarket to them via email marketing, SMS. You can retarget those folks on retargeting ads, and the likelihood of them becoming a customer is much higher. And if you believe in your products, which I'm sure you do, then you know that your product is the best fulfillment for their need. So there's no shame in helping folks find a solution to their problem. So they need to find you, though, as the solution to their problem. And so when you drive traffic, you've got to make sure that you're getting your funnel set up to where you can actually collect those leads. And I always tell folks, and I guess this isn't really a common thing that's taught, but websites are not necessarily for conversions straight away. They're usually for collecting a lead. So the most important thing that you can do on your website is have some kind of a lead magnet opt-in for people to exchange their email. It's what we would consider a green offer. There's green, yellow, and red offers in marketing. Green means it's not a really high risk to exchange your email for a small freebie. That's not requiring the client to risk a lot of their money, time, effort, or energy, or to put themselves publicly at risk. A yellow offer would be something like considering them to opt in for something a little bit like a smaller product, maybe where they're purchasing a $10 to $15 to $30 product. And then a red offer is going to be like, okay, work with me. This is like our deepest funnel offer. It's an expensive offer. It's something where when you land on the web page and you're going, and you have different types of buyers as well. So you've got what are called tortoise buyers that need to be warmed up a little bit more before they make buying purchases. And then you have hare buyers who are coming in and purchasing. They're ready to make purchases. They're hungry for purchases. So you want to have green, yellow, and red offers available on your website. But the majority of people are going to be attached to this green offer. And I learned the tortoise and hare from one of my mentors, Mariah. She's amazing. So, and then for Pinterest, you're getting a lot of your quality, cheapest traffic and leads. Some of our cheapest traffic and leads come from Pinterest. So if you're considering doing a Pinterest strategy, you for sure need to make sure you have some kind of a green offer on your website, whether it's a free download, an email discount code, a PDF or something that they can get for free. Something that they can get for free in exchange for their email. And then also the quality of leads on Pinterest is amazing because you have people that are on there planning for purchases. So 63% of the users are on there making purchases on Pinterest. And then I get asked all the time, what kinds of brands are working on Pinterest? Who have we helped and what has happened? So their beauty brands do great. Anything gift related, people are always looking for gifts, whether it's Mother's Day and Father's Day are huge holidays on Pinterest. Then you've got Black Friday, anything for holiday related things. And then Valentine's Day is also an extremely popular time on Pinterest. And then you've also got like graduation time where people are looking for gifts and doing graduation parties. And then of course there's the new year, new you. So if you have like a skincare, hair care, fitness brands, food brands, all do really well at the end of the year / beginning of the new year. Supplements are a little hit or miss. If you have something that's branded and packaged kind of like in a newer fashion, they do really well on Pinterest. If it's something that's kind of like, I will say this, video sales letters. I see a lot of supplement brands trying to use a video sales letter. And if you don't know what that is, it's essentially like a webinar. A small webinar. Those do not do well on Pinterest. If you're trying to drive just straight to a video sales letter, which is cold traffic, going to a product page to see this webinar about the product, they don't work for whatever reason. Even though Pinterest needs to be, most of the buyers are educational, but most buyers feel like that's kind of a spammy technique. So they don't, and trust is extremely important on Pinterest. So I would say I wouldn't advise that. But if you have a cool supplement brand that's actually exciting and people like it and it's packaged well and you're offering something that's going to help the users of Pinterest, whether it be, we've seen a lot of success with things like pregnancy, hormone regulation, fitness, weight loss, clean skin, clear skin, rest, sleep, that kind of things, immunity, weight loss, all of that kind of stuff. You can't be overtly weight lossy, but you can definitely be healthier and more of a wellness lifestyle. Anything skincare does great. Fashion brands, men and women, do well. Mom and baby brands are like the home run of Pinterest. They always do exceptionally well. A lot of food and drink brands. We're seeing a lot of really cool things. People doing subscription boxes and things like that are doing great. And then from the info product side, you've got courses, bloggers, live event registrations. You can do webinar registrations that are actually real webinars on things that people are interested on Pinterest versus, like I said, the video sales letter. It's just a different strategy. It's kind of like cold traffic. With a webinar, I usually recommend that you're giving away something free to start. And then the webinar is kind of like your upsell strategy in the funnel, but it works extremely well. And then gardening, we've worked with a lot of different great gardening brands. I have a personal affinity for gardening. I love it so much. There's a lot of stuff on there. And then, of course, anything parenting or child related, there's a lot of like homeschool curriculum, things like that does really well. Makeup, skincare, jewelry products do exceptionally well. There's just a lot of great opportunities as well. So, and then Pinterest has 459 million users, so people are definitely on there. And some of the things that make Pinterest targeting different is that it is 93% of people on Pinterest have made at least one purchase on the platform. That's extremely unique. Facebook is not that way. You're doing what's called disruptive marketing, which means essentially you are interrupting their social time and their social feed to serve them an ad of something they may or may not like. With Pinterest, it's the opposite. They're on there, they're searching, they're actively looking for solutions to their problems. So if you're presenting them a solution to the problem, the likelihood of them purchasing is extremely high. And it's not interruptive, it's search intention-based targeting. 83% of Pinterest users are using Pinterest regularly to plan purchases, which means they're coming there with the intention, again, to purchase. So they're seeing images, they're saving images, they're coming back later, and they're purchasing them. And we see, and we'll talk about delayed attribution later, but we see that in the buying cycle of Pinterest purchasers. By the first time they see an image to the time they purchase, they have spent some time considering their purchase, planning their purchase, buying other coordinated products related to their purchase. All of those things are happening at the same time. 51% of people are on Pinterest at least once a week, which is pretty insane. That's the highest statistic, I think, of any social site or search site. So that's amazing. The active user percentage is extremely high. And then also 63% of users have over $100,000 a year income. That's the highest income per capita of any social site. So they have money. They're searching for purchases. They're making purchases consistently. So you have a huge potential for opportunity here, even more than like Google and Amazon. A lot of times people are not necessarily looking for purchase planning on Google. You're going to see some of that, but you've got all the other things, services, everything else, how-tos, educational based stuff. And then 40% of new users are men on Pinterest, which is amazing to me. It used to be probably 4 or 5 years ago that I wouldn't take on any clients, even actually probably up to about 2 years ago. We didn't really take on any clients that serviced men's related brands. And then a couple years ago before Black Friday, I had a couple people convince me to try their men's brand on Pinterest. And they did a lot better than some of our women's brands because we could specifically target a very niche audience that was serving great products to men or targeting women who are purchasing gifts and products for men. So those both do exceptionally well. Women are always looking for Father's Day gifts, for things for sons and brothers, grandfathers. They're looking for gift ideas for Christmas and holidays and things like that. And so there's a lot of targeting options for purchasing men's. It's not just for haircuts for men anymore. There's definitely a lot of great opportunity. And then there are 5 major missed opportunities that I see most people miss on Pinterest for sure. So, number 1, Pinterest is a visual search engine. So it's a specific channel, a specific mixture between search and social behavior. So there are a lot of factors when you're thinking about how you're showing up in search and visual search. So it's the only visual search engine. It's the only place where you can search and an image is going to show up. So when you're creating your images, you can get a lot more click action on your images because you can use text, you can use different kinds of image descriptors, you can use discount codes, you can use a lot of things that can help people really want to engage with your ad. So as you're creating, you definitely want to take into consideration the fact that they're going to be seeing everything from a visual search perspective. And it's less about writing copy and great headlines, at least in the descriptions. Now, the opposite is true for Facebook. You want to make sure you have exceptional copy, exceptional headlines. You're not using any keywords on Facebook. On Pinterest, you're definitely using keywords. You're using keywords in your images, in your text. All of those things have to be taken into consideration for visual search as you're creating content. And people ask me, or I'll audit accounts where folks are using a Facebook strategy on Pinterest and it doesn't work that way. You can't create your ad sets, your structure, your campaign types, nothing of that sort translates to Pinterest. So you really have to take it from this visual search approach of you being the first person inside their brand strategy. Most of the time, Pinterest would be fitting in as a super top of funnel strategy, aka people on Pinterest you can assume as you're creating a strategy that people on Pinterest have never seen your brand before. They have never engaged with your brand before. They don't know anything about you, nothing about what you sell, nothing about your products, nothing about your brand mission, nothing about your services, nothing about any other maybe amazing causes that you're connected to, how you started your brand. And all of those things are extremely important things that users of Pinterest are very interested in. So as you're creating a top of funnel strategy, you want to approach it like, okay, these people have never seen my brand before. I want to knock it out of the park with education, both on Pinterest and then on your landing pages. So maybe that looks like carousel ads. Maybe it looks like videos that are educational initially for your top of funnel audience, and videos that are more product focused for audiences that have already engaged some with your brand on Pinterest. And you definitely can do retargeting on Pinterest. We'll talk about that, which retargeting is essentially anybody who's seen your brand before on your website, on the Pinterest ads platform, who have engaged with your pins, that kind of thing. We'll talk about how to create those audiences, but you can definitely think through, okay, if no one, and assume you're going to have to create a strategy that people have never seen your brand before on Pinterest. Also, with this search content and intent-based marketing, like I said, you're not doing disruptive marketing, but people on Pinterest are looking for something very specific. So when you're solving their problem, you want to have your messaging that's being a lot more specific based around that keyword. So if they're searching for white rugs, you maybe want to have a title that says, find the perfect white rug, 15% off, or something like that. So you can get very intentional with your keywords that you're bidding on. The image needs to match that. The description needs to match that. Your landing page needs to match that. And you've got to have a coherent experience for them. And you want to be relevant to their search. And then also, Pinterest creatives and funnels are different. You do not on Pinterest. So because it's not technically a social site, the goal is not to get a bunch of followers. People always ask me, oh, are we getting 1 million more followers? Well, that's great. But it doesn't really matter if you have a person as a follower, you're still going to be able to show up in search. It's like Google. You don't have any followers on Google, right? When you're looking for search, you're really just looking for an answer for your search. Because Pinterest has a social element side, you can get followers, but it's not something that I am super hardcore driven about with like my clients and stuff like that. It's more like I would highly, highly recommend that essentially you're focused more on your a lot more on your content, probably 100% more on your content than you are on actually trying to get likes and followers. The opposite is true probably for Instagram, because nobody's going to see things in your feed unless you have like a trending situation, which is still essentially an algorithm, or your hashtag. You can sort of search hashtags on Instagram, and maybe they don't have the same kind of a search algorithm where things are going to show up. So you've really got to consider how many, what your content is looking like. Now, people can save your pins on Pinterest, which is really cool. That's a cool metric to know, that okay, someone saw my image, they saved it, they're coming back later, they put it in a folder, a visual folder that they can actually come back and see, and they saved it for their purchase that they're planning. So you can't really do that. You can't do that with Google unless you bookmark some pages, but who looks at their bookmark pages? Like, never. And you can't even really search bookmark pages, so it's kind of useless. With Pinterest, you can search your boards, you can search your pins that you've saved, you can search that content again. You're going to see the things that are going to show up in search again that you were looking for initially. You can save them on an intentional board, and when you click that board, you're going to open it up and it's going to see all these visual things. So you want to think about that when you're creating content. Okay, this person was looking for a white rug. I want to make sure and have a picture of a white rug. Purchase the best, most affordable, most durable white rug you can find here. Yes. And then cross-channel tracking and reporting is an art of mastery on Pinterest. So the cool thing about it is they have some of the most comprehensive reporting on organic that's available on the market, which is really cool in their analytics. I'll show you that. And then that data that you're getting for organic. So if you're just sharing some pins and you want to test out some strategy on organic, the data that you're getting there is very valuable and you can use it for your ads. So, and then of course they have, I would say, less sophisticated data than other advertising channels, but you still have everything that you could possibly need on the reporting side. Now, getting those to match, if you have a Shopify store, there is a native Shopify app that when you install that app, it's going to automatically populate the pixel, which is going to share the information from your site back to your ads manager and show you who's clicking and the different things, actions that they're taking on your site. They have an automatic pixel placement, which is nice to use if you're just starting out. If you're growing and expanding and scaling, I do not recommend using the native Shopify app, but that's not something we're going to cover here. You can message me if you have questions about setup or that kind of thing. We have a full development team because we found that over time, for scaling purposes and things like that, the native apps just don't work the same. They do work really well usually for Facebook and things like that, but not for Pinterest because of this delayed buying behavior we're going to talk about in our next session, which essentially is extremely hard to track. Like I was saying before, people see an image, they save it on their boards, right? So that creates a unique tracking issue with Pinterest. So we'll talk about that later. But we have created what I call our Pin Ranks e-com system, which is essentially creating the right foundation for you to succeed on Pinterest, which requires you to have the right creative, the right targeting, the right tracking, and set you up properly for optimization and how to make those kind of optimization decisions based on how people are engaging with your creative targeting and that you're getting this tracking. So we're going to talk through all of those. We're diving deeper into strategy coming up. So how much is it costing you guys? Would love to hear in the chat for you to get a new client. What is your CPM, aka cost per million impressions, on Facebook or wherever you're running ads, if you are running ads now, and what is your cost per lead? So if you've never calculated those numbers, you definitely want to know your total spend divided by the number of leads. So say you spent $100 on ads and you got 10 leads, that would be $10 per lead. So the cool thing about Pinterest is over time, those numbers always go down and they usually are a lot cheaper than Facebook, which is really cool. Initially, they're more expensive, but that's true for opening any new marketing channel. So knowing your target metrics and goal metrics that you want to hit, or KPIs we call them, which is essentially key performance indicators for your brand, is critical for Pinterest. So your average order value, this is an extremely important number in advertising that is critical to know for Pinterest, because if you have an idea of what your average order value is, then you know what kind of budgeting you need to get to and what kind of bidding you need to get to for your ads to be profitable. So over time, we usually see that average order values going up and up. And if you have kind of what we call an upsell sequence, so someone sees your image, maybe they make a purchase of a smaller product, and then after that, they're sent to a page that upsells them an additional product. Those kinds of things we extremely encourage to increase your average order value. Or maybe you have a subscription or the opportunity to create a subscription-based model. I would highly recommend that because the users on Pinterest, again, are extremely avid purchasers and they have money and they want a solution to their problem. So having a subscription-based model does usually really well on Pinterest as well. And it's something that can help increase your average order value and your lifetime value. It's called, I didn't put that on the slide, but LTV, which is your lifetime value in general. So you want to know how much, when you get a new customer, that helps you determine if it's profitable. So if the cost of acquiring a new customer is $100, but their lifetime value is $1,600, it's extremely worth it, right? To get a new customer. And you may not have profit with the first month, but over the next 2 or 3 months, it's going to be profitable. And then eventually it's all profit. Your target CPA. This is probably one of my most favorite metrics. Your cost per acquisition, again, the price that it's going to cost you to get a new customer. On Pinterest, these prices are normally extremely low. So if your goal, this is important because you want to make sure that as you're considering profitability again, and you're getting a new customer at $10, and that price, say it is costing you $10 to get a new customer, but it's profitable for you at $5, anywhere between $5 and $10 is all profit. So the lower you can get your cost per acquisition, the more profit you're going to get. So yay, that's what we definitely want. So Christy's saying, I'm an e-com. Her Facebook cost per million impressions is $26 and cost per acquisition, not lead, is sale. How much is your product, Christy, for your CPA, and what is a profitable CPA? We'll talk a little bit more about that. But I would say cost per million impressions for $26 is radically expensive. What we're getting on Pinterest is between $2 and $8 maybe, cost per million impressions. So that right there hopefully will change your entire ad strategy as well. Pinterest CPM, yeah, there you go. 62 cents. She's saying, Jasmine's saying for Pinterest. Yeah, that's amazing. $8. Okay. So we've got a ways to go here with $28 and so your CPA goal is $7 to $8. I would say that's probably reasonable with Pinterest. It's going to take, usually it takes about 2 or 3 months to get there, but usually by month 3, we start to see a dramatic decrease in cost per acquisitions. And that's because more people have seen the image for the first couple months that you've been running ads, and then they're now starting to purchase at the 3-month-ish mark. Is usually, if it's a brand new, you've never run any Pinterest ads before, it usually takes about 2 or 3 months. You'll still see purchases, but just start getting to your goal CPAs, your goal ROAS numbers, that kind of thing. So yeah, okay, Yulia's saying $13 on a $50 product. Yeah, that's a great goal. I would say that's highly doable for Pinterest for sure. And then of course your ROAS goal, you're trying to get a certain return on ad spend. This has been a very difficult process in the last couple months since iOS update as of last year. So if the ROAS goal is essentially figuring out how are you going to get that ideal amount of spend to give you that ideal amount of return. So lately it's been difficult if you've been doing Facebook ads to get really anything over 1.5, 2x, 3x maybe on a good day at scale, which means spending a larger amount of money every month. With Pinterest, we're seeing crazy return on ad spend, like between 2 and 5x at scale, people spending $100,000 a month. Or it's easier to get a higher ROAS with a smaller spend. So if you want to try and test, it's always cheaper and easier to get it with smaller spend. So that's it. But don't get too excited because as you scale, it usually goes down, even if it's just temporarily, because it takes time for your ads and images to warm up on Pinterest as people are starting to see those new images. And again, their buying behavior is to save something, come back later and purchase. So just keep that into consideration. And then, yeah, we talked about cost per million impressions. They're generally much lower on Pinterest, between $2 and $6, which is kind of it's cheap. Getting below $10 is really hard even right now on Facebook. Okay, so, and then of course you have the monthly spend opportunity. When you're looking at a new potential platform, you want to make sure that if you're in a place where you're considering scaling, you want to make sure that you're opening a new platform that actually has enough users and enough opportunity for you to be able to scale. So Pinterest is amazing. I mean, I would say we're not even hitting the cap of what's possible on the spend platform. And we have some clients that are spending $150,000 a day during like the holidays and busy times. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of spend opportunity. And then of course you have organic staying potential that you don't have on most other platforms. Facebook, Google, I would say if you're creating a content strategy, definitely not with their ads. You don't have any organic staying power. And then Instagram, any other social channel, you have no organic staying power. Essentially it's 24 hours, maybe a little bit on like Reels I've seen lately. But definitely not on the ads. You still have to have the ads serving for you to get any organic staying power. So, and again, our average ROAS is 2x to 5x at scale, which is pretty radical. So here's another example. The Australian market, if you have any products that you service to Australia, oh my gosh, is just hitting it out of the park right now. It seems like everything that we put up in Australian market is just crushing it. So this one did. This is a 1 month view. Again, it was a $30,000 spend that month with a 4.59x ROAS. And then let's see, I don't have the numbers for the target, but you've got the target CPA or the CPA here was really low. I'm pretty sure this was like a $45 to $50 goal CPA, and we were able to hit $30 on average on our channel. So that's crazy good. And then they made $140,000 from $30,000 in spend, which is like, yes, please let me print money. I'm in. Yeah. So, okay. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit more. We're laying the foundation here, talking about why is Pinterest amazing. Now we're going to talk about creating irresistible offers, positioning them for conversion on Pinterest, how they work with ads and organics, the different kind of funnels that are going to make the most sense. Your search buying behavior is extremely important, and how to optimize yourself for search, and then Pinterest ads and SEO funnel builds. And then we're going to talk about indoctrination, helping the buying behavior to help your ideal clients kind of fall in love with you, and how to really master that. Okay, so if you guys have questions, go ahead and hit them in the chat. You can also connect with Christina, who's on this Call for Client Concierge. I will start getting to some of these questions here, and we'll talk a little bit about more of them later in the Q&A section. And then, yes. Okay, so we're going to just take a brief, quick little 5-minute break here for our next session. And